Now, I'm Dominican and I've been dealing with barbershops for a long time, almost a decade. And it's actually how I made a lot of my money early on in the beginning, by basically working with barbershop owners. Now, one of my friends, let's call him Pablo, this guy, man, I admire him a lot because he has two monster barbershops and he makes over $15,000 every single month. Now, he's established in New York, in the Bronx, and the big thing is, there are expenses, but even after the expenses, this guy just makes a bunch of money. He has no college degree, he didn't come from money, he's just a hard worker and he's very business savvy. The guy is intelligent as far as when it comes to business and also dealing with people, which is also one of the most important things when it comes to establishing a service-based business. You're going to have to deal with people and you have to be very nice, approachable, and likable for the most part. Those factors are very important. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it takes to start a barbershop, what it takes to maintain a barbershop, and also what it takes to actually, well, what the profits actually are. That's the most important part, right? How do I make money? How much money am I going to make? And I'm gonna give you a bunch of models and a bunch of examples of success and also failures, because that's very important. So let's get right into this video. Number one is, how do you buy the barbershop? And the principle here is going to be buying an established barbershop is actually worth more usually, because there are two ways to actually get into the barbershop business. The first way is you just go ahead, you get a commercial rental and you put in the chair, you put in your machines, you pay electricity, all that stuff, and then boom, you build out your location. But that also means you have no customer base. The second way is you have an established barbershop that has customers and has everything, you're interested, and you buy that location from that person, and now you have a shop that's already established and has a reputation. I have two examples here. The first example is a friend of mine, let's call him Miguel. Miguel, he was working for my friend Pablo, the one with the big barbershop that makes over $15,000 a month. Well, he was working for him, but he got tired of working for him. He was like, I want to start my own business, okay? I want to do my own shop. So Miguel went ahead and he actually got a location. He paid for the lease, he got a chair, he got the equipment, and he basically started running his own barbershop. The problem is though, that there are a lot more expenses now because you have to pay for the light, you have to pay for the rent, and if you only have your current customer base, the answer is it's probably not going to be enough. Now, Miguel actually ended up going bankrupt for the most part. The whole business just went belly up, and my friend Pablo actually received him back into the shop, and he's still working in that shop till this day. But my friend Pablo, he had a different approach. He didn't want to start something from scratch. He wanted to buy something already established. So he looked into buying a barbershop for around $95,000. I know that's a lot of money. And again, this guy did not come from money. So it's not like he had a ton of money, but he went ahead and he was currently working at a barbershop in New York. And he was saving and saving and saving and saving. And the benefit of working at a barbershop is you learn how the business works. You also get paid to learn, and you can kind of see everything. So you can actually apply that thing to your business when you actually buy it. But he was actually able to save up and to get a small loan from his father. Not like Donald Trump, they had to literally take a loan out together to be able to buy the shop because they didn't have all that money. And they were actually able to buy that $95,000 lease from that current owner. Now, he's not the owner of the commercial building. Now he just owns the lease, because that's how it usually works. Okay, when you buy a barbershop, you're just getting the lease from the current owner and then you just go back to paying rent. That's how he did it. The benefit is though, when my friend bought, he had to remodel everything and so on, and he actually got robbed, which happens a lot, by the way, because the person that was going to remodel just ran away with the money, so you never pay them up front. Remember that. But he remodeled everything on his own, and he did it slowly but surely. But he already had clients, customers, and he already had people that were working there already. So he was able to make money while he was doing all of those fixes, which is great. When you buy an established location, they are usually worth more because they are already established, which is great. Now, number two is going to be, well, what does it cost to maintain a barbershop? And the principle here is you always want to keep your costs low. The lower, the better. Because a lot of people, they make a lot of money, but they also spend a lot of money. A lot of businesses, they make a lot of money, but by nature, you have to spend a lot of money to maintain it. You know, a business like that is kind of like the airplane industry or like the airline industry. You make a lot of money, but you're constantly spending billions and billions of dollars. But let's get back to barbershops. But for this case, my friend, he has to pay rent, heat, light, water, and basically cable. Because guess what? You have to have cable for the barbers that are working in that shop because they need to be entertained. And also, your customers need to be entertained. You know, when you have a business, you can't just look at it radically like numbers and figures. No, you are working with people. So how do the people there actually feel? The people working for you? And how do the customers feel when you actually invite them in? How does the scenario look and everything like that? It's not just a haircut. If it was just a haircut, people would just go anywhere. But people tend to stick with the same barber, the same location for decades. Men tend to be very, very loyal when it comes to the barbers, so it does matter how the establishment actually looks. So a part of the cost of maintenance might be every now and then you do a fresh coat of paint, every now and then you remodel some things, you add some more lights. But my friend spends roughly about $2,000 in utilities, $5,000 on rent. So in total, it's about $7,000. And that also includes cleaning fee, garbage disposal, and also cleaning of the windows, because you always want the windows very clean, transparent, so people coming in can actually see from outside and see what's going on. It's very intricate, right, when you think about it, but things have to be well maintained. You don't just want a barbershop when you walk in, everything's dirty, smelly, and you're like, I just can't wait to get my haircut and just leave. A barbershop is a place where when you arrive, you should kind of want to feel like, this is good. This is so relaxing. And when you're cutting your hair, you're like, I almost want this not to end, right? You almost feel like it's ended. You're doing it too quick, okay? Because you want to stay there a lot longer. But again, his bills are like $7,000, but he also makes about $15,000. So when you look at it, his bills are actually low compared to his income because he makes a lot of money. Now, number 3 is how much money does he make? How are the profits, okay? And the principle here is you want to make the location as profitable as possible. Every single tile, every single inch of that establishment has to be making you money because it is a business. There has to be a reason. You just don't have this big, wide, open space and call it, well, it's just a decoration and there's no reason behind it. When my friend bought that shop for $95,000, it only had 10 people working there. Now, there are around 16 to 15 people actually working in that location. So now, he basically is able to make a lot more money. And it looks like a completely different shop because he remodeled it so much and he's able to do a lot of his own work, I think because fear of getting robbed again, but he's very talented, very intelligent. I mean, there's a lot of businesses you can do within a barbershop, by the way. You could do, for example, money orders, where you basically send money to like foreign countries. You can do top-ups. You can do a lot of different little businesses within a barbershop. If you have ideas or you don't have ideas, a good way to do is just go to a few barbershops and see what other businesses they have within the business. Like some people sell products and are in hats and clothes and all that stuff because you do have people coming in that have money and might be interested in buying different things. You know, you have a soda machine, you have an ATM. There are a lot of different businesses that can go into a barbershop, which is something that I really like. But the 2 main ways, or 3 main ways actually, to make money from a barbershop are, 1, you can have a percentage-based model, which basically means, well, whatever you make, I get 10% or 50%, or you get half and I get half. That's a percentage base. So the more haircuts that barber actually does, the more money you make. You get paid based on his performance because you get a percentage of his performance. However, if he has a bad week, you don't get paid that much money. So that is the con. If he has a good week, then you get paid a lot of money. But the second way is the way I like the most, honestly, and it's a fixed rent, almost like a sublease within your lease. So you have a barber there and you ask him, hey, I want you to pay me, for my friend, they pay him about $250 a week, I think it is. So imagine that, okay? That's like $1,000 a month, which is great. Or like $225, something like that, okay? But $250 a week is great money. So you get $250 a week. A haircut is about $20. So that basically means that the barber has to do around like 13 to like 14 haircuts and then he paid you. But what if this barber Instead of making like $250 in a week, he makes $1,000 or he makes $2,000. Well, you still get the same $250. That's the idea. So if he does great, doesn't matter. You made $250. If he does bad, doesn't matter. You still get the $250. And that's a big benefit. You have a fixed income, you know that's going to be coming in and you don't have to be worried about it. Now, the third model, which I have not ever seen in real life, but I'm pretty sure guessing people actually do that, is a salary base. So you have a person working there and you just basically pay them to be a barber inside of your shop. So you pay them a fixed salary. I think that's a terrible idea because barber shops are performance based. They're almost like a hustling center because people have to hustle, they have to get their customers, and they have to work very hard to make a living cutting hair for the most part. So when automatically you pay someone X amount of money, well, you have to be doing the work to get them the customers because they don't care because they're going to get the money either way. So there's a lot more work that has to do with the owner that usually just has to do with the barbers themselves. So just to give you guys an illustration here, overall, this is a shop in the Bronx and it's just a normal location. You have 15 seats literally, and every single person that's in each of those seats has to pay my friend $250 every single week, or like $225, I think it is, every single week. And that's basically what he makes, okay? From that, he pays all his bills and his profit is about $7,000. Now, I'll give you guys a piece of advice from me to you is when you start to make a lot of money, whether it's from business or from your job or whatever it is, try not to experience lifestyle inflation. That basically means my friend had a lot of hard times, okay? At one point, he had to basically, I'm not gonna reveal so many things, but the point is he had a lot of hard times. But you wanna be very careful that once you start to be successful and make money, do not start to spend a bunch of money. Don't buy fancy cars, don't start living in fancy houses, and don't start doing any of that stuff. Try to keep working to build out your financial freedom because the big problem is during the pandemic, my friend, I'm pretty sure he was a little scared, because everything was closed down. And right now he has a monster shop, but what happens if somebody comes in with another monster shop next to him? Competition is a real thing. So think about a business like a cow, and your job is to milk it and to feed it. And you want to take out as much milk as possible. And eventually the goal is to make passive income so you don't have to worry about work and about taking on so much risk. And this sounds easy from this video, but my friend has a lot of work to do. He's constantly thinking about dealing with people and everything that involves a barbershop, okay? It is a job, but the great thing is he makes well over $80,000 a year, no college degree, no nothing, and is just basically working hard and using his brain. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like these videos, let me know. And if you guys actually want me at one point to go over to the Bronx and film that whole barbershop and have you talk to my friend, all that stuff, let me know in the comments down below and I'll ask him if he's interested in doing an interview. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.